I'm standing in my childhood kitchen, holding a wine glass I don't remember pouring, watching my mother laugh at something my sister just said. The turkey sits perfectly browned on the counter behind them. Everything looks like a Norman Rockwell painting. Everything except me. Honestly, Margaret, my sister Chelsea says, flipping her highlighted hair over her shoulder, what exactly do you have to be thankful for this year? The question hangs in the air like smoke. My mother doesn't intervene. My father studies his phone. My brother Derek snorts into his bourbon. I open my mouth, then close it, because the truth is I have everything to be thankful for, but they've never understood that. They've never understood me. I mean, you're still doing that charity thing, right? Chelsea continues, her voice dripping with the kind of pity that's really contempt. Living in that tiny apartment, still single. My nephew Aiden looks up from his iPad. Confused by the tension, he's too young to fully decode, but old enough to sense. Chelsea, I say quietly, I run a nonprofit organization. It's not a charity thing. Oh, right, she exchanges a look with Derek. How much does that pay again? Let me back up. My name is Margaret Reeves, and I'm 32 years old. 3 years ago, I left a six-figure marketing job at a pharmaceutical company to start Breaking Barriers, a nonprofit that provides career training and mental health support to formerly incarcerated women trying to rebuild their lives. It's the most important work I've ever done. It's also the thing my family respects the least. The Reeves family values are pretty straightforward: money, status, appearance, and more money. My father, Richard, is a commercial real estate developer. My mother, Patricia, sits on the boards of various country clubs and charity galas, the kind where wealthy people wear expensive dresses to raise money they could have just donated in the first place. Chelsea married a hedge fund manager named Brad and lives in a McMansion with a three-car garage. Derek runs a luxury car dealership. And then there's me, the family disappointment, the one who threw away her potential. I arrive at my parents' house in Westchester at 2 in the afternoon, carrying a homemade sweet potato casserole. I've been dreading this since I confirmed 2 weeks ago. My mother opens the door wearing a cream cashmere sweater that probably costs more than my monthly rent. Margaret, you made it. She kisses the air beside my cheek. Her eyes scan my outfit, a simple navy dress from Target with barely concealed disappointment. Is that new? No, Mom, I've had this for 2 years. She takes the casserole dish without looking at it. Well, come in, everyone's in the living room. The everyone in question is the complete Reeves family roster. Chelsea and Brad are on the leather sofa, their two kids, Aiden, 7, and Sophie, 4, playing quietly with expensive wooden toys. Derek is at the bar cart with my father, both of them talking about interest rates and investment properties. Derek's girlfriend du jour, a 24-year-old named Brittany, perches on an ottoman-looking board. Margaret, Chelsea rises to hug me. She smells like Chanel No. 5 in Judgment. You look comfortable. Thanks, I don't take the bait. Brad extends a hand without standing. Margaret, how's the nonprofit world treating you? Really well, actually. We just secured a partnership with... Dad, Derek interrupts, tell Brad about the property you're closing in Stamford. And just like that, I'm invisible again. This is how it's always been. I'm the middle child, sandwiched between Chelsea's perfection and Derek's golden boy status. Growing up, Chelsea was the beautiful one, Derek was the athletic one, and I was the reading one, the quiet one, the one who asked too many questions and cared too much about things that didn't fit on a resume. When I got into Columbia, my father was proud, for about 5 minutes, until he found out I'd chosen sociology over business. When I graduated summa cum laude, my mother threw me a party where she spent the entire time talking about Chelsea's engagement. When I got the pharmaceutical job, they finally approved, until I quit to start Breaking Barriers. That dinner, 3 years ago, was a war zone. You're throwing your life away, my father had said, his face red. You have a career, a real career. I'm starting a real career, I'd replied, one that actually helps people. Helping people doesn't pay the bills, Margaret. It pays mine. My mother had dabbed her eyes with a napkin. I just don't understand where we went wrong. Chelsea has a beautiful life, Derek is successful, and you. I what, Mom? You're so determined to struggle. I'd left that dinner early, driving home with tears streaming down my face, questioning everything. But I didn't quit. I filed the paperwork, found a board of directors, secured my first grant, and rented a small office space in the Bronx. I worked 16-hour days for 2 years straight. I poured every bit of my savings and soul into breaking barriers. And it worked. We've helped 247 women find employment. We've provided counseling to over 400. We've partnered with community colleges for education programs. We've reunited mothers with their children. We've saved lives. But none of that matters to my family, because there's no corner office, no company car, no impressive title they can brag about at the country club. At 4 o'clock, we sit down to dinner. The table looks like something from a magazine spread: crystal, china, elaborate floral arrangements. My mother has outdone herself, as always. My father says grace. He thanks God for health, prosperity, and family. He mentions Chelsea's recent promotion to senior vice president at her marketing firm. He mentions Derek's dealership winning some regional award. He does not mention me. So, Margaret, Brad says, cutting into his turkey, Chelsea mentioned you're still doing the women's prison thing. Formerly incarcerated women, I correct. And yes, we just expanded our services to include. I just don't understand the appeal, my mother interrupts. These women made choices, didn't they? Bad choices. I set down my fork carefully. Many of them were victims of circumstances: poverty, abuse, systemic inequality. They served their time. They deserve a second chance. Everyone deserves what they earn, my father says. That's how the world works. Not everyone starts with the same opportunities, Dad. Here we go, Derek mutters. The social justice lecture. Chelsea laughs. Margaret, you're not going to change the world. You're just making yourself miserable for nothing. I'm not miserable. Really? Because you look exhausted. She tilts her head with fake concern. When's the last time you took a vacation? Went on a date? Did anything for yourself? I do plenty for myself. Like what? Working 70-hour weeks for no money. It's not about money. It's always about money, my father says firmly. Money is freedom, security, respect, and you have none of those things. My throat tightens. Little Sophie asks for more mashed potatoes, momentarily breaking the tension. I just think, my mother says in her gentle butt-cutting voice, that you're wasting your potential, sweetheart. You're so smart. You could be making a real difference somewhere important. I am making a real difference. Where? Chelsea challenges. In some rundown office in the Bronx with criminals. They're not criminals, they're women who made mistakes and paid for them. They're mothers, daughters, human beings. They're not us, Derek says flatly. And there it is, the real issue. They're not us, they're not wealthy, they're not connected, they're not Reeves family material. The rest of dinner passes in a blur of small talk and passive-aggressive comments. Chelsea talks about her Hamptons summer house. Derek brags about selling a limited edition Porsche to a celebrity. Brad discusses his investment portfolio. Brittany remains silent, probably counting the minutes until she can leave. And then, as we're clearing the table, Chelsea delivers the killing blow. Honestly, Margaret, what exactly do you have to be thankful for this year? Everyone stops, even the kids go quiet. Because from where I'm standing, she continues, emboldened by wine and an audience, you've got nothing. No money, no husband, no prospects. You're 32 years old, working for free, living like a college student. Mom and Dad are too polite to say it, but someone should. You're a failure. The word lands like a slap. My mother doesn't defend me. My father doesn't look up. Derek smirks into his drink. I'm not a failure, I say, but my voice sounds weak even to my own ears. Prove it, Chelsea says. Show me one thing, one concrete thing, that makes what you're doing worthwhile. I want to tell her about Jasmine, who got her GED through our program and now works as a medical assistant. I want to tell her about Maria, who was separated from her kids for 6 years and is now reunited and thriving. I want to tell her about the grant proposal I just submitted to the Department of Justice, or the partnership with NYU's social work program, or the waiting list of women desperate for our services. But I don't, because I know she won't hear it. None of them will. That's what I thought, Chelsea says softly. Nothing. I leave before dessert. I mumble something about an early morning, grab my coat, and walk out into the cold November evening. No one follows me. I sit in my car for 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, trying not to cry. I'm 32 years old and I still need my family's approval. I still want them to see me, to value me, to understand that success isn't just about money and status. But they never will. I drive home to my tiny apartment in Washington Heights, a cozy one-bedroom with exposed brick and a view of the Hudson that I actually love. I change into sweatpants, pour a large glass of wine, and collapse on my couch. My phone buzzes, a text from Chelsea. Sorry if I was harsh, just worried about you, read. I don't respond. Another text, this one from my mother. Please don't leave like that next time. It's rude to your father. I turn off my phone. The truth is, I am tired. I am stretched thin. The nonprofit runs on grants, donations, and my own rapidly depleting savings. I work 70-hour weeks. I haven't dated anyone seriously in 2 years. Sometimes I lie awake at night wondering if my family is right, if I'm delusional, if I'm wasting my life, if I should have just stayed at the pharmaceutical company and collected my bonuses and bought a nice car and learned to stop caring so much. But then I think about the women I serve, their faces, their stories, their resilience. And I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Even if no one else sees it. I don't hear from anyone in my family for 3 days. No calls, no texts, no apologies. On Monday morning, I'm back at the Breaking Barriers office, a modest space on the third floor of a community center. We have 4 rooms, a main area with desks for me and my 2 part-time employees, Keisha and James, a counseling room, a computer lab for resume building and job applications, and a small kitchen. It's not fancy, but it's ours. You okay? Keisha asks when I arrive. She's been with me since the beginning, a former social worker who believed in the mission enough to take a pay cut. You look like you had a rough weekend. Family Thanksgiving. Say no more. She hands me a coffee. We've got 3 intake appointments today and a site visit from the Brennan Foundation at 2. The Brennan Foundation. My stomach flips. They're considering us for a $200,000 grant, money that would let us hire more staff, expand our services, maybe even open a second location. I've been preparing for this visit for weeks. I'm ready, I say, trying to convince myself. The morning is busy. I meet with Alicia, a 38-year-old who served 5 years for drug possession and is trying to find work as a medical biller. I meet with Tamika, who's struggling with childcare while attending our computer skills training. I meet with Sandra, whose parole officer is threatening to violate her for missing appointments, even though she's been coming to our counseling sessions religiously. These are the stories my family will never hear. The complexity, the humanity, the impossible choices these women face every single day. At 2 o'clock sharp, Dr. Ellen Brennan arrives with her assistant. She's in her 60s, sharp-eyed, with gray hair and an expensive suit that somehow doesn't feel ostentatious. Ms. Reeves, she says, shaking my hand firmly, thank you for having us. I give them a tour. I show them the computer lab where 3 women are working on resumes. I show them the counseling room where our licensed therapist, Dr. Yolanda Martinez, conducts individual and group sessions. I show them our outcomes data, employment rates, recidivism rates, family reunification numbers. Dr. Brennan asks smart questions. She pushes back on our methodologies. She wants to know about sustainability, scalability, long-term impact. I answer every question with data, passion, and honesty. At the end, she nods slowly. This is impressive, Ms. Reeves. Truly, you're doing important work. Thank you. The board will make a decision by mid-December, but I'll be honest with you, you're a strong candidate. After she leaves, Keisha hugs me so hard I can't breathe. You crushed it. Don't jinx it, I say, but I'm smiling. For the first time since Thanksgiving, I feel like myself again. That evening, I'm at my apartment making dinner when my phone rings. My father. Margaret, we need to talk. His voice is cold, formal, my stomach drops. I'm okay. Your mother is very upset about Thanksgiving. You embarrassed her by leaving early. You embarrassed the whole family. Dad, Chelsea called me a failure in front of everyone. Chelsea was expressing legitimate concern. You're sensitive, Margaret, you always have been. I'm not sensitive, I'm hurt, there's a difference. Well, regardless, your mother wants you to apologize. Apologize? I nearly dropped the phone. For what? For being rude, for leaving without saying goodbye properly, for making a scene. I didn't make a scene, Chelsea did. Margaret, his voice hardens. This is not a negotiation. You will apologize to your mother and your sister. You will do it by the end of the week, or you will not be welcome at Christmas. The ultimatum stuns me into silence. Do you understand? He asks. I understand that my feelings don't matter to this family. Don't be dramatic. I'm not being dramatic, Dad. I'm being honest. No one defended me. No one stood up for me. You all sat there while Chelsea tore me apart. She was trying to help you. By calling me a failure. By giving you a reality check? His voice rises. Look at your life, Margaret. You're barely scraping by. You have no savings, no security. You're one crisis away from financial disaster. We're your parents, we worry. If you worried, you'd support me. You'd ask about my work. You'd try to understand. We don't need to understand. We can see the results. And the results are that you're struggling. I'm not struggling. I'm building something meaningful. You're wasting your life. The words are harsh and final. And we're tired of watching it, so you have a choice. Apologize or don't. But know that your stubbornness has consequences. He hangs up. I stand in my kitchen, phone in hand, feeling like I've been punched in the chest. This is the pattern with my family. They hurt me, then demand I apologize for being hurt. They invalidate my feelings, then call me dramatic for having feelings. They set impossible standards, then shame me for not meeting them. I pour myself a glass of wine and sit on my couch, staring at nothing. My phone buzzes. Chelsea. Mom told me about the call with Dad. I'm sorry this is so complicated, but you have to see it from our perspective. We love you. We just want what's best for you. And this nonprofit thing isn't it. Come over this week, let's talk properly. Read. I stare at the message for a long time. Part of me wants to go, part of me wants to fix this. Part of me is desperate for their approval, even now. But a bigger part of me is just tired. I don't respond to Chelsea. I don't call my mother. I don't apologize. Instead, I open my laptop and work on a new grant proposal, because this is what I do. I channel pain into purpose. I transform hurt into help. It's the only way I know how to survive. The next 2 weeks pass in a blur of work and avoidance. I throw myself into breaking barriers with renewed intensity. I meet with clients. I train new volunteers. I submit grant proposals. I don't call my family. They don't call me. On December 10th, I get the call from Dr. Brennan. Margaret, it's Ellen Brennan. I have good news. My heart stops. Yes. The board voted unanimously. We're awarding Breaking Barriers the full $200,000 grant. I actually scream. Keisha comes running from the other room, and I'm crying and laughing and trying to explain through the tears. There's more, Dr. Brennan continues. We were so impressed with your work that we've recommended you to a colleague at the National Criminal Justice Reform Initiative. They're doing a feature on successful reentry programs for their annual report. They want to profile breaking barriers. Are you serious? Very. Someone named Marcus Webb will be reaching out. Congratulations, Margaret. You've built something truly special. After I hang up, Keisha and I dance around the office like maniacs. James comes in, confused, and we tell him, and he joins the dance party. This changes everything, Keisha says. We can hire a full-time counselor. We can expand the computer lab. We can actually pay you a decent salary. That night, I celebrate alone in my apartment with Chinese takeout and champagne. I think about calling my mother, telling her the news, proving that I'm not a failure. But I don't, because I'm tired of needing their validation. The next morning, Marcus Webb calls. He's a documentary producer working on a special report about criminal justice reform that's airing on a major news network. We want to feature Breaking Barriers as one of our success stories, he says. We'd film a segment with you and some of your clients, with their permission, of course. We'd highlight the work you're doing. It would air nationally the week before Christmas. And nationally? CNN primetime, we're talking millions of viewers. I say yes immediately. The next week is chaos. Marcus and his crew arrive with cameras and lights. They interview me about the nonprofit's origins, our mission, our impact. They interview Keisha and James. They interview three of our clients who agree to share their stories: Jasmine, Maria, and a woman named Nicole who's been with us for 8 months. Jasmine talks about getting her GED and her medical assistant certification. She talks about being separated from her daughter for 3 years and now having custody back. She cries when she talks about what breaking barriers meant to her recovery. Maria talks about her journey from drug addiction to sobriety to employment. She talks about the stigma of incarceration, the impossibility of finding housing or work with a record. Nicole talks about being failed by every system designed to help her, until she found us. Marcus interviews me on camera, asking about my background, my motivations, my vision. Why did you leave a lucrative career to do this? He asks. Because it needed to be done, I say. Because these women deserve better than what society gives them. Because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I didn't try. Your family must be very proud. I hesitate just for a second. This work is its own reward. He seems to sense there's a story there, but he doesn't push. On December 20th, Marcus calls with the air date, December 23rd, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're calling the segment Breaking Barriers, One Woman's Mission to Change Lives. It's going to be powerful, Margaret. You should be proud. I am proud. I'm also terrified, because once this airs, there's no hiding. My work will be public, visible, undeniable. My family will see it. I don't tell them it's happening. I don't reach out. We haven't spoken since my father's ultimatum 3 weeks ago. As far as I know, I'm not invited to Christmas. On December 23rd, I'm at my apartment, alone. Keisha wanted to come over to watch with me, but I told her I needed to do this by myself. At 8 p.m., I turn on CNN. And there I am. The segment opens with footage of our office. Shots of women at computers. Shots of our counseling room. The narrator's voice is warm and authoritative. In a small office in the Bronx, one woman is changing lives. Margaret Reeves left a 6-figure career to start Breaking Barriers, a nonprofit dedicated to helping formerly incarcerated women rebuild their lives. In just 3 years, her organization has helped hundreds of women find employment, secure housing, and reunite with their families. They show my interview. I watch myself on screen talking about second chances, systemic inequality, the power of community support. They show Jasmine. Margaret didn't just give me a job, she says, tears streaming down her face. She gave me my life back. She gave me hope. They show Maria. I was nobody when I walked through those doors. Margaret saw me. She believed in me when no one else did. They show our outcomes data, the statistics on our success rates, the partnerships we've built. The narrator continues, Margaret Reeves is proof that one person can make a difference. That compassion, combined with action, can transform communities. Breaking Barriers is more than a nonprofit, it's a movement. The segment ends with a close-up of me. Every woman who walks through our doors is someone's daughter, sister, mother. They deserve dignity. They deserve opportunity. They deserve a chance to prove that their past doesn't define their future. That's what we give them. That's what drives me every single day. The screen fades to black. I sit in stunned silence, tears streaming down my face. My phone explodes. Text from Keisha, oh my God, Margaret, you're on CNN. Text from James, we're famous. Well, you're famous, this is incredible. Text from Dr. Brennan, saw the segment, outstanding, well-deserved. Text from former clients, board members, volunteers. And then, at 8:47 p.m., a text from my mother, we just saw the news, call me. I don't call her back, not that night. Instead, I sit with the weight of what just happened. 3 years of work, validated on national television. My story, my mission, broadcast to millions. The proof they couldn't ignore. My phone keeps buzzing. More texts from family members, an email from my father, a voicemail from Chelsea. But I'm not ready, not yet. I spend the next morning at the office where our phone is ringing nonstop. Donations are pouring in. People want to volunteer. Women are calling for services. Local news stations want interviews. Margaret, this is insane, Keisha says, grinning. We've raised $15,000 since last night. People are sharing the clip everywhere. By noon, I have 47 missed calls from family members. At 2 p.m., my mother shows up at the office. I'm in the middle of a donor call when I see her through the glass door. She's wearing a fur-trimmed coat and leather gloves, looking entirely out of place in our modest building. I end the call and walk to the door. Hey, Mom. Margaret, her eyes are red. Can we talk? I let her in. Keisha gives me a questioning look, and I nod that it's okay. We sit in the counseling room. My mother looks around, taking in the worn furniture, the motivational posters, the box of tissues on the table. I saw the news segment, she says finally. As I know. Why didn't you tell us that it was airing? Would you have cared? She flinches. Of course we would have cared. Really? Because 3 weeks ago, Dad told me I wasn't welcome at Christmas unless I apologized for being upset about Chelsea calling me a failure. You all sat there and watched her tear me apart, and no one said a word. Hey, Margaret. No, Mom, let me finish. My voice is shaking, but I push through. My entire life, you've made me feel like I'm not enough, not successful enough, not conventional enough, not Reeves family enough. I've spent 32 years trying to earn your approval, your respect, your pride, and I finally realized something while watching myself on television last night. What? That I don't need it anymore. She's crying now, mascara streaking her cheeks. We do respect you, Margaret. We worry. We don't understand your choices. They seem so hard, so risky. They are hard, they are risky, but they're mine. And they matter. Those women you saw on TV? They're not abstractions. They're not statistics. They're human beings who deserve a second chance, and I'm giving it to them. That's worth more than any corner office or country club membership. I know that now, she whispers. Watching the segment, hearing those women talk about you, I saw it. I finally saw what you've been trying to tell us. It took national television for you to see it. Yes, she looks at me directly, tears streaming. And I'm ashamed of that. I'm ashamed that I didn't listen sooner, that I didn't support you, that I let Chelsea speak to you that way. It's the most honest she's ever been with me. Mom, I love you. I love this family. But I can't keep sacrificing my own sense of worth for your approval. I can't keep apologizing for caring about things that matter. I'm not asking you to, she reaches for my hand. I'm asking if you can forgive me, forgive us. I think about it, really think about it. I can forgive you, I say slowly. But things have to change. You have to actually respect my work, not just tolerate it, not just accept it, respect it. I will, I promise. And Chelsea needs to apologize, a real apology. And she will. And when Dad. Your father is proud of you, she interrupts. He won't say it easily, but he is. He called me this morning, crying. He said he watched the segment 3 times. This stuns me into silence. We sit there for a long moment, mother and daughter, with 32 years of misunderstanding between us. Do you want to come to Christmas? She asks tentatively. I'll think about it. She nods, accepting this. Before she leaves, she looks around the office again. This place, she says softly. It's wonderful, Margaret. You've built something wonderful. After she's gone, I sit in the counseling room for a long time, processing. That evening, Chelsea calls. Margaret, I owe you an apology. Yes, you do. I was horrible at Thanksgiving. I was cruel and dismissive and completely out of line. I think I was jealous. Jealous? Of your conviction, your purpose. You know what you're doing with your life, you know it matters, and I'm just going through the motions. Big house, fancy job, and I feel empty most of the time. Her voice cracks. Watching you on TV, hearing those women talk about you, I realized you have something I'll never have. You have meaning. And Chelsea, I'm not asking for sympathy, I'm just trying to explain. And apologize, you're not a failure, you're the opposite, and I'm sorry I ever said that. It's the most vulnerable I've ever heard her. Thank you, I say, that means a lot. Will you come to Christmas? Maybe. I hope you do. Over the next 2 days, I hear from everyone. Derek sends a text, saw the segment, pretty badass, sis. My father leaves a voicemail. Margaret, call me when you can, I'd like to talk. Even Brad emails, impressive work. Chelsea showed me your nonprofit's financials, solid growth trajectory. If you ever need strategic planning advice, let me know. The attention is overwhelming, but it's also clarifying. Because this is what I needed. Not their approval exactly, but their acknowledgement. Their understanding that my life has value, even if it doesn't look like theirs. On Christmas Eve, I decide to go to my parents' house. I'd arrive at 6 carrying wine and a homemade pie. My mother opens the door and actually hugs me. A real hug, not an air kiss. Inside, the family is gathered, but the energy is different, softer, more careful. Chelsea hugs me immediately. I'm so glad you came. Derek nods at me with something that might be respect. My father stands from his chair. He walks over to me, and for a moment, I think he's going to shake my hand. Instead, he hugs me. I'm proud of you, he says into my hair. I should have said it sooner. I'm proud of you, Margaret. I start crying, I can't help it. We have dinner, and it's different this time. They ask about breaking barriers. They ask about the grant. They ask about the women I serve. Chelsea wants to know if she can volunteer. Derek asks if his dealership can donate a car for client transportation. My mother wants to host a fundraiser. It's not perfect. There are still awkward moments, still times when I can tell they don't fully understand. But they're trying, and that's something. After dinner, my father pulls me aside. I watched that segment 4 times, he says, and each time I saw something I'd missed. Your passion, your intelligence, your impact. I built buildings, Margaret. You're building lives. That's more important than anything I've ever done. Dad, let me finish. I'm not good at this, but I need you to know. You were right to follow your gut, to leave that corporate job, to start the nonprofit. You were right and I was wrong. It's the first time in my life I've heard him admit he was wrong about anything. Thank you, I whisper. What you have, he continues, what I saw in those women's eyes when they talked about you, that's the real definition of success. Not money, not status, impact, legacy, meaning, you have all of that. We stand there in the kitchen, father and daughter, rebuilding a bridge that's been burned for years. That night, lying in my childhood bed, I think about the journey, the 3 years of doubt, the family dinners where I felt invisible, the moments I questioned everything. And I think about Jasmine's face on TV, Maria's tears, Nicole's strength. I think about the $200,000 grant, the donations pouring in, the lives will change next year. I think about my mother's hug, Chelsea's apology, my father's pride. And I realize something important. I didn't need the CNN segment to prove my worth. I knew my worth all along. But sometimes the world needs proof. Sometimes validation isn't weakness, it's justice. The months following Christmas are transformative. With the Brennan Grant and the influx of post-CNN donations, we hire 2 full-time staff members, a counselor and a job placement specialist. We expand our computer lab. We launch a financial literacy program. We partner with 3 more community colleges. By March, we're serving 150 women, up from 75. My family's involvement is genuine. Chelsea volunteers every Thursday, helping with Resume workshops. My mother hosts a fundraiser at the country club that raises $80,000. Derek's dealership donates a van for client transportation. My father connects me with other business owners who provide internship opportunities. It's not that they've completely changed. They still value money and status. They still live in their bubble of privilege, but they've made space for me in their world, and they're trying to understand mine. In April, I'm invited to speak at a national conference on criminal justice reform. The auditorium is packed. After my speech, I get a standing ovation. I FaceTime my mother from the hotel room. How did it go? She asks. Really well, I think I'm making a difference. I know you are, sweetheart, I always knew you would. It's a small lie, but I let her have it. That summer, we open a second location in Newark. Jasmine, who's been thriving, joins our team as a peer counselor. Maria starts a support group for mothers reuniting with their children. In August, I'm featured in Forbes' 30 Under 40 Social Entrepreneurs issue. My mother buys 10 copies and distributes them to everyone at her book club. The work is still hard, the days are still long, I'm still not wealthy by my family's standards, but I'm building something that will outlast me, something that matters. On Thanksgiving, 1 year after the dinner that changed everything, I arrive at my parents' house with confidence instead of dread. The family is gathered again, but this time, when I walk in, Chelsea rushes over with genuine excitement. Margaret, tell everyone about the expansion plans. Derek stands up. Before dinner, I want to make a toast. We gather in the living room, glasses raised. To Margaret, Derek says, who taught this family what success really looks like? Who had the courage to follow her conviction even when we were too blind to support her? Who's changing lives every single day? We're lucky to have you, sis. To Margaret, everyone echoes. My father catches my eye and nods. My mother is crying happy tears. This time, when my mother asks what I'm thankful for, I have an answer ready. I'm thankful for the 328 women who have come through Breaking Barriers doors. I'm thankful for second chances, the ones I give and the ones I've been given. I'm thankful for my team, who work tirelessly for a mission bigger than themselves. I'm thankful for everyone in this room who learned to see beyond their own definitions of success. And I'm thankful for the version of myself who refused to give up, even when it would have been easier. We're thankful for her too, my mother says softly. After dinner, Chelsea pulls me aside. I've been thinking, she says, about what you said last year, about meaning and purpose. I talked to Brad and we're going to start a scholarship fund for women in your program who want to go to college. We'll cover tuition, books, everything. I stare at her. Chelsea, that's incredible. It's not incredible, it's the least we can do. You showed us what matters, Margaret. Now we want to be part of it. That night, driving home to my apartment, which I still love, despite offers from my father to help me upgrade, I think about the journey. A year ago, I sat in my car after Thanksgiving dinner, feeling worthless, feeling invisible, questioning everything. Tonight, I drive home knowing exactly who I am. I'm Margaret Reeves. I'm the founder of Breaking Barriers. I'm a woman who chose purpose over profit, meaning over money, impact over image. I'm someone who proved that success isn't measured in dollars or square footage or country club memberships. It's measured in lives changed, hope restored, barriers broken. And no one, not my family, not society, not even that voice of doubt in my own head, can take that away from me. It's May, and I'm standing in our new headquarters, a beautiful renovated space in Manhattan, funded by a combination of grants, corporate sponsorships, and private donations. We now serve 400 women annually across 3 locations. We have a staff of 15. We've placed 189 women in permanent employment this year alone. Our recidivism rate is less than 3%, compared to the national average of 68%. More importantly, we've changed the narrative. We've shown that formerly incarcerated women aren't statistics or lost causes. They're resilient, capable, worthy of investment. Today, we're hosting our first annual gala. It's not as extravagant as my mother's charity events, but it's meaningful. Every dollar raised goes directly to services. The room is filled with supporters, clients, board members, and donors. Jasmine is here with her daughter. Maria is here with her kids. Nicole is here with her new employer, who wanted to meet the organization that transformed his best employee. My family is here too, at a table in the front. My mother is on the host committee. Chelsea helped with planning. Derek sponsored a table. My father gave a substantial donation and brought business associates who have since become major supporters. I take the stage to give the keynote address. 3 years ago, I begin, I left a comfortable job to chase a dream that most people thought was foolish. I was told I was throwing my life away, that I'd never succeed, that I should be practical, realistic, sensible. But I couldn't be those things, because I'd met too many women who'd been discarded by society, who'd made mistakes and paid for them, only to find that society wouldn't let them move forward, who had talent, intelligence, and determination, but no opportunities. I started Breaking Barriers because I believed these women deserved better, And I was right. The woman who told me that belief was foolish, she's in this room tonight, volunteering her time. The father who told me to be practical, he's one of our biggest donors. The sister who questioned my choices, she's creating scholarships for our clients. They changed their minds because they saw proof. But here's what I learned: you don't need anyone else's validation to know your purpose. You don't need external proof to trust your convictions. The work itself is the proof. The lives changed are the validation. If you're here tonight, it's because you believe in second chances, in redemption, in the power of one person or one organization to make a difference. Thank you for believing. Thank you for investing. Thank you for seeing what I saw 3 years ago, that every woman deserves dignity, opportunity, and hope. The applause is thunderous. After the speech, my mother hugs me. That was beautiful, sweetheart. My father shakes my hand. Proud of you, Margaret, always. Chelsea squeezes my arm. You changed our family. You know that, right? You made us better. Later, when the event winds down, I stand at the window overlooking the city. Keisha joins me. Hell of a year, she says. Hell of 3 years. You ever regret it, leaving the corporate job, starting all this? I think about the question, about the sleepless nights and empty bank account, about the family dinners where I felt like a failure, about the moments of doubt and fear. Not for a second, I say, and I mean it, because I built something real, something that matters, something that will continue long after I'm gone. I proved to my family, to myself, to the world, that success isn't about what you accumulate, it's about what you contribute. And that's a legacy worth building. As I leave the gala that night, walking through the streets of Manhattan, I think about the girl I used to be, the one who needed her family's approval, who measured her worth by their standards, who questioned her own value when they questioned her choices. She's still part of me, but she's not in control anymore. The woman I've become knows that the most important validation comes from within, from the work you do, from the lives you touch, from the person you see in the mirror. My family came around eventually. The national news segment forced them to see what I'd been doing, but even if they hadn't, even if they'd never acknowledged my work, it would still matter. Because the women I serve know. Jasmine knows, Maria knows, Nicole knows, the 328 women who have walked through our doors know. And that's enough. More than enough. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been in a position where your family, your friends, or society told you that your dreams weren't good enough? That you should be more practical, more conventional, more like everyone else? And if you have, did you listen to them or did you listen to yourself? Because here's what I learned. The world will always have opinions about your life. People will always project their fears and limitations onto your dreams. Your family will always want you to be safe, comfortable, recognizable. But safety isn't the same as fulfillment. Comfort isn't the same as purpose. And being recognizable isn't the same as being true to yourself. I'm Margaret Reeves. I run a nonprofit that changes lives. I live in a modest apartment in Washington Heights. I work 70-hour weeks. I'll probably never be wealthy by conventional standards. And I've never been happier. Because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. So tell me, if you were in my position, if your family dismissed your dreams, your passion, your purpose, would you stay silent and conform? Or would you fight for what you believe in, even if it meant standing alone? Drop your answer in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious. Have you ever had to choose between approval and authenticity? And if you did, which one did you choose?